Now, almost seeming to be annoyed, the All-Force looked down at Reginald, and once again, before anything else could happen, the All-Force was already there at Reginald's side, with another strike, nailing him, sending him flying back towards the place where everything started, smashing into the ground, which didn't last long, as Reginald exploded from the location, flying back towards the All-Force. As the battle continued, more and more destruction rained out. Reginald began to summon monstrous creatures, some the size of mountains, like Goliaths of smoke and fire, that would lash out, only to be smashed asunder by the All-Force. Giant snakes to wrap him, giant beasts to gobble him up, and blasts of destruction raining from every direction, and all for naught. No matter how much Reginald seemed to try, the All-Force was unwavering. "Yes, I see now," the All-Force exclaimed after several minutes of conflict, looking down at the destroyed world beneath them, full of craters the size of cities, as the world seemed to be tearing itself apart around them. Massive fissures running across the surface, seeming to shatter everything, splitting the world in segments, molten hot magmas pouring out from basically everywhere, every volcano on the planet erupting non-stop. "It's clear, in your new state, the dealer's devil, you have always possessed the power of the highest tiers of demons, and on top of that, you have also mastered the use of demonic magic, which only seems reasonable, seeing that whilst in that form you can't use your regular magic. Demonic magic and regular magic are quite different, and require different methods, but you have long since mastered it all. But that is not the key or focal point to the tactic you're using. I'm amazed. You should have run out of energy long ago. I've been thinking it over, and no matter how many times I calculated, even a demon of the highest tier should not have the amount of power that you possess. You should have run out. And if you truly possess that level of power, then your attacks would be far more damaging, have much more power behind them. So how is it that you have the supply, but not the output? And it's simple. Your supply never changes, never alters. It's not that you have more energy, that you're simply not unleashing at any single point. It's that your energy is continually being restored. The same too with your physical state. It should have given out long ago as well. And yet, there you are, unscathed by my attacks, still within your demonic form, despite the immense cost of using it that should have reduced you back to normal. Using what seems like a limitless supply of energy. Adding all of these things together, it becomes clear. Your use of the eternal timepiece. You didn't use it on me. You didn't use it on time. You didn't use it on this world, the All-Force said as Reginald laughed furiously, spewing out gouts of fire and smoke as he did. Are we figuring it out? He said, laughing maniacally. Yes, Reginald. You used the watch on yourself. You knew that you could not defeat me, even with the level of power given to you by that state. Your mergel with the weapons, it was still insufficient, because my power is infinite. And so, you decided to test that. You used the watch to make yourself infinite, locking the point in time when you first attained that state and all of the powers therein, and creating a loop. Whenever you become damaged or exhausted, whenever you use your power, drain your supply, whenever any of these things happen, The clock resets, taking you back to stage 1, when your power was at maximum, your physical body unharmed, and your ability to maintain that state optimal. In other words, you've created a never-ending battle, a fight that cannot end, because I cannot kill you. If I do, you will simply reset, go back to your previous state, and you cannot kill me, because despite the power you wield, it is not sufficient to do me in, and thus the battle cannot end. It is infinite. Reginald laughed madly as he stared at the All-Force, smiling brightly, toothily. So we figured it out. I must say, it took you long enough. Reginald exclaimed. I see, Reginald. So, rather than admit that you cannot defeat me, you simply created a scenario in which your defeat is impossible. I cannot win because I can't kill you. You cannot win because you cannot kill me. And thus we must fight for all eternity. You would rather do battle with me until time does not exist, until all things fade into nothingness, before you would allow yourself to lose. Reginald laughed as he stared at the All-Force. Yes, Reginald, your plan is brilliant, as always. I expected nothing less. However, I have no intention of this battle lasting forever, the All-Force said, as he disappeared, simply vanishing into nowhere, as a bright flash of rainbow light emerged nearby Delius and Jax, back at the point where it all started, as Reginald's attention was drawn there as well, the All-Force standing next to the clock floating in air, ticking away, and what Delius and Jax hadn't noticed was its constant ticking back to place, ticking only a few times before returning back to its original position to repeat the process. I may not be able to destroy you like this, but this clock is far from indestructible by my means, the All-Force said as it gripped the clock. Reginald looked as if he had fear in his eyes in the moment, and in a flash of red, tried to appear nearby, reaching out for the clock, as, in a sudden grip and an explosion of rainbow light, the clock was shattered. An explosion of golden light rang out, with rainbow streaks behind it, as suddenly Reginald's form burst into a pile of flames and smoke. Rippling metal, both black and gold, seemed to wriggle within it, like worms sticking their heads out. As everything began to subside, there Reginald was, kneeled on his hands and knees before the All-Force. The two weapons clattered to the ground, and Reginald gasped for breath, his clothing torn, beaten, in disarray. The laughter subsided as he coughed up blood, wheezing for every breath. And now it is at its end, the All-Force said as it began to approach Reginald, standing before him. You have always been a brilliant tactician, Reginald. However, tactics would not win you this fight. I am sorry to say, but it is over, the All-Force said, peering down at Reginald before his feet. As Reginald began to release his midsection, from gripping it as if he was in a great deal of pain, in his tattered clothing, his weapons at his side, his body looking beaten and ragged, coughing up blood, as small streams of it poured from his mouth. His hand began to reach up towards the All-Force. Truly, do you believe that you can continue to fight even now? The All-Force stated, as Reginald's hand reached up, and finally, lifting the palm of his hand upwards, there in the center of it was a small golden pocket watch. That can't be. I destroyed it, the All-Force said, staring at the pocket watch for a moment, as Reginald clicked the small button on the top, smiling up towards the All-Force, blood running from his mouth. Bang! He exclaimed as he released the button, and in what seemed like an all-consuming explosion of force, everything became red light. Nothing was visible anywhere. Rainbow lights surrounded both Delius and Jax, as the red light seemed to consume everything, and it stayed like that for some time. Simply a never-ending flow of red light beaming out from the central location before finally it subsided. And there, floating in the vacuum of space, with nothing else there, no world, just an empty vacuum, barely even rubble remaining. The planet itself was gone, but the All-Force remained. However, Reginald did not. What in the hell was that? Delia said. What happened to him? What was with the clock? All-Force! Delia screamed. I see now, the All-Force said as he looked at his body and hands. You pulled a fast one after all. So clever, Reginald. What happened? Yeah, I'm with Delius on this one, Jax replied. What the fuck was that? It was Reginald's last game, believe it or not. He hit me. Honestly, I can't believe it myself. It was masterfully pulled off, something that only a master strategist of his level could achieve. It was a double bluff from the beginning. Now that I have turned back on my awareness of all things, I can see Reginald's plan clearly. He knew it right from the beginning, from the moment he first pressed the button on that pocket watch. This was his plan. What was? Delius exclaimed, completely and utterly confused. It all started when I told him that I liked to see his plans in action, that I would limit myself in order to see them fulfilled. This meant that while I was battling him, I could not see the future, what would transpire, what thoughts were going through his mind. All of these things were blocked from me, so that I could watch his plans unfold, experience them, feel surprised. Reginald took advantage of this. If nothing else, even if he could not defeat me, Reginald did something that I truly thought impossible. He hit me, and not with any small measure of force either. More than enough to destroy this entire planet. If it was inside of a solar system, it probably would have been gone as well. But how? How did he do it? Jax exclaimed. It's simple, believe it or not. Reginald used sleight of hand to trick me, the All-Force. It wasn't any sort of otherworldly magic or unimaginable power. It was a simple trick. A magic trick, like one would see at a children's birthday party. From the beginning, Reginald already had an eternal timepiece. He started out with one from the beginning. Him summoning up another one and sacrificing another gear from the clock of eternity, and his 3 construct abilities. All of it was simply a ploy, a trick, so that I would believe that that was his only eternal timepiece, that I watched it being created. But in actuality, he always had 2. He just needed me to believe that it was only 1. The first part went exactly as he expected me to believe it would be. He clicked the button on his watch in order to lock his physical state and energy into an infinite recycling process, giving him limitless power and indestructibility. But this was the ploy, because he had the second pocket watch. Truth be told, he was holding the second one right behind the first and clicked both buttons simultaneously. So when the effects rang out for the second pocket watch, it was simply mixed in with the first, one watch hidden behind another, while the pocket watch that we saw set him into a loop in which he would eternally regenerate his power and physical state. The second pocket watch had a much different agenda. Rather than setting his abilities into a loop, he knew that the amount of power that I allowed him to use was limited to what he had here, that I would not allow him to draw from exterior sources, and so he increased his overall interior sources by making it infinite. However, this would not yield the amount of power necessary to truly threaten me in any way, unless it was all stacked together. That was the purpose of the second timepiece. It was a stopwatch, recording all of the energy that he expended during our conflict. Every blast, every summoning, every attack, every single drop of demonic energy that he used, refilled and used again, was stacked into a building pool, kept track of by the second pocket watch. And upon the moment that he clicked the button on the second pocket watch, all of the energy that he had utilized during that moment in time, from the moment he first clicked it to the moment he clicked it again, it was all unleashed at once in a single all-consuming explosion, which completely annihilated everything, including him. But it did not kill me. Of course, as impressive as it was, that is far beyond the range of something he can do. But he did manage to succeed in something quite impressive. He both managed to fool and to land a solid strike against me. Truly, you are impressive in all aspects and means, worthy of the title of dealer, Reginald P. Worthington, the All-Force exclaimed as he stared down at his hand. I've never been struck before. It's an interesting sensation.